Hi, my name is John McLuckie, and I'm doing this series on emotional causes that can cause physical symptoms, and this one is on anxiety attacks. Now, I'm very much a clinical hypnotherapist as well as a QHHT level 3 practitioner. So I deal with a lot of anxiety that clients have, and they come into my sessions and because they want to work on it. Now, anxiety, when you really peel back the layers on anxiety is always fear. Now, what happens is your body will react to whatever your mind is thinking at the time, but your brain has thought a thought and your body has reacted to that thought. A really good example of anxiety is I had a lady, she came in because she couldn't even drive on the highway. She felt like she was getting more and more claustrophobic, so it got to a point where she wasn't going on the highway, so she had to take the back streets around to get to work and get to her friends, and especially work, it was taking her an extra hour just to go around through the back streets, an hour to work and an hour back, and it was driving herself crazy, but she just couldn't do it. So what we did in hypnotherapy is we went back to the initial root cause, because if you get to the cause of a problem, well, then you can pull out the roots of it. So with her, it actually started, had nothing to do with driving at all. It actually started when she was 2 years old, and she got lost away from her mum and her dad, and she ended up just walking into an elevator. And what happened was people started coming into the elevator, and she was only 2 years old, and she was in there, and it was such a boxed in feeling, and so she started crying and screaming, and then her parents heard her, and then the people let her out, but it was that same feeling. So she had that anxiety within her since she was 2 years old, and she was about 35 or something like that now, but every time that she felt that boxed in feeling, it was the same feeling. So when she was driving down the highway, she felt it. So she did the right thing, because she actually came in and we dealt with it, and the whole session took about 45 minutes, and the moment that she walked out of here, she gave it a test, and she called me from when she was at home, and she said it was just like a miracle. It's just gone. She doesn't have that feeling anymore. That's because we released the energy that was stuck in her body. So a panic attack or an anxiety attack is energy that's stuck in the body that hasn't been released, and it's always fear. Your brain is thinking the worst case scenario, and your body's reacting to it. So please go and see somebody about anxiety. Go and see somebody that it really works. Sometimes if you just talk about it, it doesn't really get to the real cause, and then sometimes if you get to the cause of it, you can work it out, but it doesn't release the emotion, it doesn't release all the energy in it. So if you are struggling with anxiety, feel free to get in contact with me. If you're overseas, I can easily do it over Zoom or over Skype or something like that. It's a very easy clinical hypnotherapy session. There are so many examples that I've got, so many. There was a guy that he felt so anxious flying. Now, flying is a huge one. People don't like it, and his whole thing was he didn't like it because he felt out of control. So then what we did was we actually regressed him back to the initial cause of that feeling, and he went right back, and he was at his grandmother's place, and something happened, and he tried to ring his mum and dad, and his mum and dad didn't answer the phone. So he actually had a panic attack right then, and he felt so out of control that as an adult, that emotion and that energy got stored in his body, that whenever he felt the same feeling out of control, well, then it was the body memory bringing that feeling back up. So he had never dealt with it. So we just dealt with that emotion We released all the trauma, and now he can get on a plane, absolutely no problems at all. He feels safe, he feels nice and calm. So my tip is if you can't go and see somebody, always, before you feel an anxiety attack coming on, because people start feeling it coming on, you have to remind yourself that you're safe. Just tell yourself, I'm safe, I'm safe. This is why a lot of people tell you to get back to the present moment. This is what psychologists will say. They'll say, take a deep breath, because what happens is when you stress out, your blood actually drains away from your brain. It'll go into the body because your body feels like it has to either run, has to go into fight or flight mode. So the best thing to do is take a deep breath in, just have a good look around, and tell yourself that you're safe. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And then your body will reset and you'll come back into the present moment. So that's a really good tip. Please go and see somebody, and I'm more than happy to help out anybody who has anxiety, because it's a really, really easy one to heal. A lot of people go to the doctors and they just get anti-anxiety medication, which is just an antidepressant. Basically, it's exactly the same thing. And all it does is it just numbs that part of you so you can just deal with the symptoms, and it just, the symptoms sort of get stuffed down more and more and more and more and more. But it's like a volcano. One day it's just going to absolutely explode. And people don't really know what's in the medication. So it has different side effects. It can cause liver problems and kidney problems and stuff like that, whereas it's so easy just to deal with it and heal it. It's very, very easy. So look up the website and look under the clinical hypnotherapy for that, and I'm more than happy to help out anybody with anxiety. So thanks for watching. Just remind yourself, I am safe. I am safe. Thanks.